Welcome back to another episode of VolTalk. I'm your host, Madeline Lewis, and today I have some very special guests with me. I have Harrison Pasley and Walt Braley. So they're with the show Unwarranted. So tell me, how did Unwarranted form?
Well, Unwarranted, at the beginning of last semester, we kind of just went to Clint and said, TVC needs a comedy show. And he agreed very quickly and was all for it, which shocked us very much. So I just started grabbing as many people as I knew that I thought were funny, and we made our own little comedy Avengers team of a sort. And except we're all Hawkeye. Yeah, and then Clint was just all for it, and he was honestly it was easy to do it because he was just super supportive. So we put together a team of 8. And the next thing we knew, he had told us a date, and we were in the studio, and we were like, wow, we did it. And we've just done it pretty much every week since then. Never looked back,
Wow, yeah.
Anything to add?
No.
So y'all are obviously super close, and like you said, you just gathered some of your friends. What are some of the challenges of working with your friends?
I will speak to this. I not only work with some of my friends, but I actually live with our head writer, Ryan.
You can't get away.
And I cannot get away from Unwarranted. And it definitely, you have to be careful to strike that. It's hard to say work-life balance because I have no life and this isn't really work. But you have to have some balance between, prioritizing friendships and making sure the show's good. And we've done a pretty good job of keeping that balance.
Awesome.
To add one small thing, I feel like the easiest thing to go to is how do you avoid hurting each other's feelings and stuff. But there's this other end issue that I feel like doesn't get enough attention, which is that sometimes pretty much all of my friends are part of Unwarranted in some capacity, and sometimes it's let's hang out and not do unwarranted things. And sometimes if we're all together, the next thing you know, we're pitching or we're arguing over an episode, or we're discussing, and it reached the point where it's oh man, we gotta do something else. And it becomes absorbing for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Unwarranted recently went through a quick little format change. I guess season 1, y'all are very y'all are into segments and everything, and then this season we're kind of doing full out live shows, sit down and watch y'all do your thing. What was that change like, and where do you see, what other changes do you see coming in the future for Unwarranted?
The change happened, we really liked what we did last semester, but it all felt very much like a test run of a sort. It never felt like a cohesive, planned out show. It felt like throwing ideas at a wall every week and then posting it online to let everyone else decide what sticks, kind of. Mm-hmm. But we just agreed that it'd be better for us, it'd be easier, and it would be a better final product if we came in here and shot it, and it was just a show, and we shot it in the studio, and everything that you see in an episode somehow relates to the thing before it or the thing coming after it. And that way, I don't know, I feel like everyone gets to be a little more involved because you're in the studio. I don't know. And a lot of the sketches, there was also this issue of you would watch a sketch that we filmed in the studio, and we're trying to pretend it's something, and it's kind of they've used the same set 3 times in this episode as 3 different things, and it was much easier to commit to using it as a studio, I think. As far as what's going to keep changing,
I keep pushing. This season we've done basically cohesive episodes that have been, by and large, parodies or takes on a very particular kind of television, which is basically studio television. So we had an SNL type episode, a kind of ESPN episode. We've got a PBS kids show episode coming up.
Oh gosh.
And I would like to eventually move into more narrative things. So sitcoms or those old 60s TV shows that used to be filmed in front of studio audience, but for no apparent reason. I'd like to do more of that, which is insanely ambitious and may not happen. But I think what we decided to do is that we're very fortunate to have a studio, and we should take advantage of it. We should learn how to use these cameras, and we should learn all of these great things that we have here, and we wanted to take full advantage of that and kind of push ourselves to be better. So that was kind of the motivation behind that.
Mm-hmm. Is it more difficult to do the full-length episodes as compared to the smaller segments?
They come with more writing challenges because we have like basically the second we finish a shoot on a Friday and we finish an episode like filming, we have to be writing an entire anywhere from like 12 to 15 page script.
Sometimes longer, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes longer, that works entirely in studio and stays fresh. It's not just a guy behind a desk for 15 minutes. Like we have to like write that and try to write it well within a week. So I think it's much harder writing because it's just a longer piece to write and it's hard to get together and make sure everyone's voices are being heard and stuff. But as far as like production, I think it's easier. I think it's much easier because before we did a lot more stuff outside the studio with field equipment. And as soon as you like leave the safety of the studio, so many issues that are hard to plan for start hitting you. And I like avoiding that.
Yeah.
Yeah. A smarter show may have had all their episodes written before they started filming, say, but we have a pretty good rhythm that's worked by and large. We're basically writing the week after we film for the next week. And so basically on the front end, there is a lot of work, which is we're writing like several drafts of scripts. They're 15-page documents. We're trying to get them to actors as they are to memorize them, things like that, which is really different than just kind of grabbing a camera and, going to Thompson Bowling on a Wednesday and pretending to play basketball or whatever.
Yeah.
But, definitely like once the episode is filmed, it's a lot easier like to edit and stuff like that. Has its own set of benefits.
I love this implication that we can just go to Thompson Bowling
and just play basketball.
Yeah.
If you've seen
Easy
season
as
1, every episode we just go to one of the stadiums on campus and play that sport, and they never bat an eye.
Yeah. Nealon loved it.
Yeah, that was
General
weird.
Nealon,
yeah.
They're so welcome.
We ended up playing in the Florida game. That was a good episode.
Wow,
Yeah.
wonderful. Now, y'all are also involved with an improv group called Cumberland Strip. Tell us a little bit more about that.
We want to be Cumberland Strip is not involved with
Separate.
Unwarranted. It is its own actually funny thing.
That we just happen to also be a part of both. I think that one of the best parts of doing anything like comedy-wise is bringing people together, because most people that want to do comedy stuff just love being nice to each other because they want to laugh and make other people laugh. So it's fun to be to make a community out of it, I guess. And like because of that, there's definitely some overlap between the groups, which I feel like is going to happen regardless. But Cumberland Strip is awesome. It was started by Miles McDonough. He is a grad student here. He is fantastic. We do improv. What else?
So that's basically how Walt and I met.
Yeah, we met at auditions for Cumberland Strip.
Yeah, we auditioned and we got in, and that's kind of our origin story. But we just actually our first Cumberland Striptease show was held exactly 1 year ago.
Wow, happy anniversary.
So,
claps for that.
You guys can't see it, but there's
That's
a cake right off.
That's how many claps we got at that show.
Yeah.
They're all polite claps. They're all Walt's
there were
mother.
all 3 people.
Yeah, but we've definitely it's been a very rewarding experience. I think, and it's so great to have like a forum to get together with friends and people who are also genuinely funny and have a space to just improvise.
There's a few things that like both Unwarranted and Cumberland Striptease, it just like it forces you into this like family dynamic with people, and it's so great to like be put in that situation and trust each other and stuff. But it's interesting, the opposite ends of them is like Unwarranted, we are constantly talking about it and constantly like, are we ready to do this, whatever. It's so cool that with Cumberland Striptease, we meet once a week and we just literally show up at the room and we're ready to go, because it's so nice to have a comedy thing where we don't have to write anything beforehand, we don't have to have anything planned, we just meet up, we like each other, and we just start having fun. And then once a month we meet up and have fun in front of people, and they seem to have fun watching us.
Yeah.
It's cool. That's been rewarding because we've seen our crowd get bigger. That show like a year ago we do all our shows in Hodges Library Auditorium, and we've gotten to the point where the last 2 shows we've basically filled it out, which is like, I don't know. It's weird that people want to come see us.
Yeah, I still haven't got a
yeah,
grip
I
on
haven't asked them why yet, but as long as it's working.
Yeah. I know both of y'all mentioned that you love making people laugh in the community that comes with the comedy community. So where do y'all see yourselves in the future as far as comedy goes? Are you going to pursue this, or what's in the future for y'all?
Well, your future is
Am
near.
I first? Okay. I'm a senior. I graduate in May, and I have this real big, ambitious plan to sit around Knoxville for a year and do a lot of crying. I don't know. In my mind, I do a lot of improv here and try to make myself as good at it as I can, and do video stuff because video is so fun. But I've reached a point where I do feel like a lot of my video stuff is just another outlet for humor, and I want to work in humor and do something with comedy. And I think that I stay here for another year or something, be comfortable, and try to make myself better. And then I go to a city such as Chicago is the top of the list right now. And I go and I struggle there for 30 years and have a good time doing that. And I'm actually very excited to do that. I don't know. At this point, that seems like the only option that works in my head. So I'm going to do it.
Awesome. What about you, Harrison?
Walt is fortunate in that he's kind of tapping out after the semester, so to speak. And I, on the other hand,
by graduating?
Yeah, by
Not
graduating.
really tapping out.
Yeah,
I'm quitting.
I'm quitting. I have to worry about the future of Unwarranted. But what I'm in the immediate future, what I'm really focused on is just making sure that we do the best we can in Unwarranted, and that we have like a professional and fun atmosphere, so where people are learning like actual tangible skills that they can take and get a job, and but people are also having a good time, and which is an important part of also any job.
Yeah.
Yeah, my immediate goal is just to keep getting better at what I do.
There's a scenario where at the open house, I come and talk about what not to do, and I'm like the scared straight.
And security escorts him out.
Yeah, like I'm yelling. I rip my shirt off. I'm yelling about how I ran Unwarranted and
Go back to Chicago.
and they're like, I'm gonna be funny. I'm famous, and they're like, get him out of here.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Tell everyone where they can, number 1, go see you live with Cumberland Strip, and number 2, watch Unwarranted. How can they do that?
All right, Cumberland Strip. I'm going to go on a limb and say you've seen the posters. They all have a very scantily clad hairy man on them.
Yeah, based on Walt, believe it or not.
It's
That's a
obviously,
tidbit I can exclusively share.
I feel like it's not that subtle, but it's very clearly a drawing of me. It's an artist rendering. But keep an eye out. Show towards the end of April. No set date on that, but towards the end of April, a big show, biggest of our semester because it's our last one of the semester. Keep an eye out towards the end of April for some really dirty posters. And if you don't see the posters, just go to Facebook and search Cumberland Strip Tees, and we are there. And if you click on that, you will always know what we're doing. We like to, we're trying to invite people to our practices a little more and let people jam with us. So there's a lot of cool stuff. Find us on Facebook and keep up with it.
And for Unwarranted, we have a Twitter account, which is at unwarranted underscore TVC. But more importantly, if you're watching this video, you can just go right back to the Volunteer Channel YouTube page, and we have Unwarranted organized into seasons. I'd recommend starting with season 2, and then it's like Parks and Rec. Don't start with season 1 of Parks and Rec. Start with season 2 of Unwarranted. There you can find a playlist and subscribe to it and get updated every time we post something new.
Awesome. Well, big thanks to Harrison and Walt. Go see them live. They're hilarious. Go watch their videos. Also hilarious. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this latest episode of VolTalk. I'm your host, Madeline Lewis, and we'll see you next week.